Listen up, you blundering fools. It's time for the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. Get all the toy talk your evil hearts could desire from these nincompoops. Jason, Corey, Elgin, and Spoody.
Yo, Joe, and welcome to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast, where a punk rock band of brothers get together to talk about one of our shared loves, toy collecting. We're here to celebrate how those little colorful pieces of plastic can transform you into a kid again. If this is your first time listening to or watching us on YouTube, dudes, thank you so much for checking us out. It's really awesome of you. Right?
Hey.
Right?
Thank you, Kevin Spoody.
There's a lot of things in the world that can have your attention, and we're really happy that you're giving us a little. It's awesome. You'll also learn soon enough that we are not toy experts. That's right. We like to say enthusiasts, because we're not going to get everything right. And
Enthusiasts.
it'll all be obvious soon enough. So let's introduce the band, your fellow podcast co-hosts. On lead vocals and rhythm guitar, he's our real American hero. It's Corey Canny.
Kevin Spoody.
On vocals and lead guitar and a true master of the universe, the quiet one, Elgin Arney.
For the honor of Grayskull.
I have the power from above.
Now I have to shower.
Next up on the bass guitar, he's more than meets the eye. He's our Transformers guy. It's Spoody.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Slapping that bass, Kevin Spoody.
Why?
Why?
And on drums, it's me. It's a me.
Yeah, it's
I'm
me.
Jason. And I play drums, and I'm here to celebrate my love of Transformers and all things awesome.
I get a Y, and he does Mario.
Dudes, BBTS. What's that stand for, Corey?
I didn't think of it. Big Bad Toy Store.
That's right. And the next time you want to visit BBTS, the Big Bad Toy Store, use our affiliate link. That's bbts.cracktasticplastic.com, and it'll take you to the same Big Bad Toy Store you know and love.
Bob's Burgers totally sucks.
Too late, and that's not true. And doing it will help them know that we sent you there, and that helps a lot. So once again, edit those bookmarks to bbts.cracktasticplastic.com. He-Man, Master of the Universe, has to find a person who will carry a magic sword in the other dimensional world of Etheria.
Swing.
He has to find She-Ra, Princess of Power. Together, they fight the villains and save a winged horse. Today, we're talking about the 1985 animated Filmation classic. Some say the greatest animated film of all time. But other people call it He-Man and She-Ra, The Secret of the Sword. That's exciting, right?
They do call it that.
That's what they call it.
Who'd have
Because
thought?
it's its name.
You looked at me, and I didn't say of all time.
I'm pretty sure
I said the greatest animated 80s movie. But that doesn't mean
Of all time.
that still means the same thing.
Did I say of all time? I don't know if I said of all time. I might have said of all time.
We are also going to visit a totally rad toy store. That's coming up later. Thank you, Elgin.
You're welcome.
You can follow us on Twitter at Cracktastic Pod and on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Patreon at Cracktastic Plastic. But all that can be found at cracktasticplastic.com. That's our website, fellas.
I know, it's awesome.
Isn't it great? There's cool things there like our wish lists and things.
Yeah,
I've never been.
Probably.
you should go.
He's probably too busy
I have.
spending all that time over at toyhacks.com, our other sponsor. For all your repro label needs, toyhacks.com. They have a armory where you can get some toy-accurate 3D printed weaponry. It's pretty awesome. Lots of stickers, backdrops. It's a super cool place. You should go.
It is a cool place, and I did say of all time, but go on.
Oh, wow. He let it be corrected. Huh, interesting. Yeah. But right now, let's talk about what toys we've picked up lately in a segment we call Thrill of the Hunt.
Listen up, you fools. If anyone knows more about searching for the most unique items in the world, it's me, Cobra Commander. In my reign as Cobra's leader, I have acquired countless items, but those meddling Joes have foiled my attempt at worldwide domination over and over again. but it's the thrill of the hunt that fuels my superb rule of Cobra. Pay attention to my loyal subordinates as they tell you of their latest exploits and acquisitions. It's the thrill of the hunt, Cobra!
All right, let's start over there with Corey Canny. What have you picked up lately, pal? Besides that cough?
No, the cough I
Oh.
picked up like 2 weeks ago, and it's
Oh.
like supposed to be going away, but I don't know.
Same.
Yeah,
Oh.
same,
Cool.
same.
Except for like 2 years ago.
And by 2
Oh, right,
months.
right.
I mean,
Except his
So
entire life.
this has been on the shelf for a while, but this is
wow.
this is a Mega Constructs set. It's a Roger Dodger race car thing. I don't know if this is like a throwback to something or what, but Russell got me this for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
This is pretty badass. Yeah, like the trunk opens and shows like there's nitrous in there and like the gear shift moves and yeah, it was a super fun build and it came with it's a Hot Wheels licensed build, so it came with a Hot Wheels.
Nice.
Yeah.
Came with it. That's neat.
Will
yeah.
this break if I drop it?
That's way.
Wasn't it like Roger Dodger mentioned in like
did.
one of the Kevin Smith movies?
Maybe,
Like
but
Clerks
I
or-
don't know if
Corey,
it has
I broke
anything
your
to do with
toy
the
already.
car.
It is way heavier
Oh,
than I
did you
thought it
knock
would
off
be.
the exhaust pipe?
Yeah.
I was expecting one of you to do that.
Not
I was
even
shaking it because it's a,
magic.
It's a
eight.
magic
magic
8-ball, yeah.
And then you flip it over.
Yeah, no, it's not that
Oh,
kind of
that-
magic, though. I think you're supposed to smoke it.
Okay.
Plastic.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So there's that, and then there's my Starscream Sky Striker that finally came in the mail after getting dicked around by the seller for a
That's
couple
so
weeks.
big.
That's what she said.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. Yeah, I'm being inundated with Sky Strikers here lately, so I'm
Nothing wrong with
Lucky
that.
number 7.
pretty stoked about this one.
You should be. It's got the coolest
I know.
character of all time.
And yeah, so I've got that, and I've got like I said,
And a Cobra Commander figure?
yeah.
Dang it.
So like I
Alright.
said in
He's in
previous
there?
episodes, I've got a couple of extra Sky Strikers that are waiting for the Thundercracker and Skywarp treatments. So I'll be working on those when it warms up enough to actually paint something.
Heck yeah.
Your box looks a little dented there.
Yeah, well, it was. It was.
It happens.
So the guy put it in a box, and then he packed all the stuff around it. So he didn't put a layer of packing underneath it. He just put it in a box, and then layers of packing around it. So the bottom got smashed, and the back of the box got a hole in it. And
like a
I
cool
opened
dude.
it up and I'm going to put it together anyway. So I opened it up to make sure that the contents weren't damaged, and they're not. And then I put it back together and didn't contact him because I was sick of dealing with him already anyway. And I was like, fuck it. I was going to open it anyway.
Yeah.
So
So-
but yeah.
So Roger Dodger is a 2002 movie with Jesse Eisenberg.
Okay. And this is the car
Sweet.
from it? All right.
One of.
Sweet. So I have that now.
Look at that giant Starscream, Spooty.
It's all right.
Come on.
Doesn't convert.
Come on.
according
Let's
to the
turn it
box.
into. Yeah. It says it on there.
Yeah, it
Does
says
not
on the
convert.
Does not
Bottom.
convert.
It's
yeah.
right there.
That's awesome.
It just means it's not going to ask you if you are
Yep.
a Jehovah's Witness or wannabe.
Right.
Or,
Oh, it's so great though. It came with Coco and that picture on the
Yeah.
front with him in the cockpit. Man, that's that's pretty badass.
he'll probably go on a shelf somewhere. Oops, I'm
was
smashing
my foot.
Spooty's foot. He'll go on a shelf somewhere, and I'll stick something else in there. I'll put one of my O-ring Cobra Commanders in it, because O-ring or no ring or whatever, people don't say that.
Hashtag. It's new.
Yeah, it's a new hashtag.
Hashtag Kevin Spooty.
No.
I will turn this podcast around. Is that it? Cool.
That's all I got. That's all I
Elgin.
It'll get like a spray bottle.
Every time he says it, just gets sprayed.
Jason, a roll of newspaper to stake you with.
Colorful pile of toys you got there, pal.
Yeah. So these are, I brought a bunch of Origin stuff that I've been opening on Moti Monday. Check it out on our YouTube playlist.
It's YouTube, right?
It is YouTube.
Huh.
If you go to our website, www.cracktastic.com, there'll be links to all that stuff. But, so I'll just try to go through them here quickly. Start with the I opened up the 3-pack from the Rulers of the Sun. I got it on sale at Target, so I didn't have to pay the $50 that they're wanting retail. I'm sure if people just wait around, it'll probably go on sale anyway. But I got it for not $50. It was probably like 30 or something like that. I can't
That's
remember.
worth it. Come on,
Yeah.
3 figures.
It is.
And he's so yellow.
Yeah. So this is Pighead. He's part of the Rulers of the Sun. He's the main villain. And he's the bad guy.
Pighead.
He's yellow and purple and shiny and stuff. I don't know where you want.
He's also turquoise.
Yeah, he's part of. So the Rulers of the Sun was a line from Olmec Toys back in the 80s that were produced by Yila Eason, and she created that company for her son to have toys that he could associate with, as opposed to
Like this is the woman that like created the toy company. Like it was the toys that could look like him, sort of thing.
yeah.
Right?
So this Sun Man, this is another version of Sun Man. It was based off of that. So she did one originally that looked a little different as her son and making a man. So it's like yes.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if anyone ever noticed, but it's like pretty evident that 80s toys and 80s cartoons are pretty whitewashed.
Yeah, and that's kind of what she's was a professor at Rutgers and made this for. So the power of Sun Man is that his skin, the melanin in his skin, is what powers him. So the sun powers him, but it's also her son. So it works on several layers like that. But so she made this so that he could have basically his own action
His
figure.
skin is not a weakness; it is
It's his
power.
strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could drive strength from his skin. So to embrace the color of your skin,
It's freaking awesome.
it was kind of the
I really
The
hate
feature
that
of
the he has uneven tusks. There's 2
Or
on one
it's
side
really
and the
cool.
other.
I mean, yeah. Well,
But he just got hit a lot in the face.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if you look at a lot of wild boars, they have that going on as well. Anyway,
I'm getting wildly bored here too.
yeah.
And the third,
So the third figure in this set was Space Sumo, which, if you take off his little headdress thing, he basically looks exactly like that
Sun
other
Man.
Sun Man head sculpt, except they just colored it differently, which is kind of odd that they didn't do a different head sculpt. They just repainted it.
Is his head that floppy or?
Yeah, a lot of the origins have that kind of. Once you take off their head, it starts flopping around quite a bit on the neck. Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
A little less texture, and that's the knight from Monty Python.
Yeah, a little bit. So Space Sumo was available also on Mattel Creations for the exact same figure, basically. There wasn't really any difference other than getting a mini comic with it. So you could have gotten... And then this Pighead was also available on a retail card, released with one of the waves, Wave 9. And I'm like, well,
but they're different.
very slight difference.
Different.
Very,
variant.
very
That's
slight
right.
difference. I think the shield is the only thing that's slightly different, and maybe it's like a little bit different. But to get all three for the lowered price, I was like, I'm just going to do that, and I'm not going to worry about
The
these other
singles.
ones. Yeah. So that was the 3-pack of the Rulers of the Sun. They have their own backstory and everything. Of they're on a different planet. They're on Trifixia, and they have like a whole story with themselves. But they're in the origins. They're bringing them into the origin line. Also got Burger King Randor here.
Come on.
With his staff that dropped.
Kind of really funny.
It looks a lot like him.
Gosh dang it does.
And his staff is kind of a golden staff.
He looks great,
they-
though.
And that's kind of what the vintage would be. So the only thing now I'm missing on my vintage is his cape and his weapon. So now that Josh got the armor for me. and
Just need
everything,
like
so.
$200 and you got it.
No kidding.
Oh,
Yeah. So he's basically, has his crown. The crown looks a little better than the vintage one. It's a little brighter colored gold and everything. And his purple cape is a plastic
Yeah,
as
it's
opposed to
definitely
fabric.
Shinier. The crown is definitely shinier.
Yeah, and his cape is a plastic cape as opposed to a cloth cape, which would come on the vintage. And then the armor is that soft plastic as well. As
And he's
hard
got
plastic.
burger action.
Yeah, I really wish he came with a burger, or maybe I can find like a little
I'm sure you
one of those
probably
like
can,
mini
yeah.
brands things, with like a little burger, and just like have him eating it the entire time. So, he was part of Wave 10. I'm trying to remember. Wave 10 also featured Whiplash, which looks probably the most like the vintage one. I did a comparison in the video that I did.
Same staff.
Same staff. The coloring and face and everything was very similar. Like the only thing I wish it had the action feature where this, and I wish the tail was a little more flexible. It's pretty solid with that greenish tail and his yellowy green skin. But the tail on the vintage is like pretty floppy, and you can. That's the whole point. Is like you can spin him, and he like hits with his tail. That was his whole thing. Was he attacked with his tail?
Mm-hmm.
And then
God.
antenna was wave before. That was wave 9. And yeah,
so cool.
the nice thing about Mantenna is that, well, he's also part of the evil horde, but he actually has the 4 legs like he had on the Filmation. The vintage one there, the legs are fused together, but he's got that kind of that bright red and dark purple, and his eyes do have an action feature that pop out. It's kind of like the vintage, but they do a little different. And he does have his gray crossbow like he did in the vintage. So colors are awesome on this, with that deep dark purple and everything, and the red setting it off with his horde symbol in his front as well. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the horde, I also have Leech. This was a deluxe pack with an actual action feature of with the suction cups and everything that will suction the things. I have it on this alternate head sculpt, which is the open mouth, and he's all green. And this is like the one I had a vintage one as a kid. I still have it as a kid, and I would stick it to the sliding glass window at my parents' house and everything. But of course, I'd like lick it first and then stick it out there so it'd stick a little better.
You lick the window first, you mean?
Nope, the suction cups.
My
But
head.
you can pop the head, so you get the kind of
Classic.
the classic suction cup, which is kind of great. Speaking of the topic we're going to talk about, a lot of these are Evil Horde, and they're going to be part of in the movie as well. They're featured. They just featured in there, and so is Mantenna attacking.
You at least store him like on the top of the tote.
I could,
Inside of
yeah.
the tote.
Yeah. But that's his other head sculpt. If you wanted to look at that,
Super gator head.
yeah. And he came with some hands too. So if you want to actually put hands on him, some kind of gnarled looking arthritic hands that are very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle esque, with the 3 fingers. You can do that as well. You can swap out his hands with that. And he comes with a crossbow. Pretty much every Horde figure comes with a crossbow. That's kind of their weapon. I think everyone except Mosquitor, he doesn't come with a crossbow. He comes with like a laser gun. But Leech and Mantenna and Hordak and Grizzlor all come with little crossbows, different colors, but that's kind of their main weapon. For some reason, they were just into archery, I guess. So that's all I have. Big old pile of origins.
Heck yeah. That's
So
awesome.
you need to look up Dollhouse food.
Oh, yeah.
Dollhouse
you-
food.
for
Oh,
burgers.
yeah.
And you can get burgers and all kinds of stuff
Sweet.
put in their hands.
Get like a whole spread and just have
Yeah.
a King Randor's Burger King spread.
When they do, like it comes
Like a chicken parm or
diet
something.
meals for
Yeah.
stuff. Or like 30 burgers.
And find a Burger King sign and
Yeah.
Well, Spudamus, you've been buying some toys.
I got stuff.
That's what he says every time. It's
last time you had things, so I'm interested now.
That- what is
stuff
that?
and things. This is a Macari purchase for like $6. It is a Beast Wars Megatron Loot Crate statue.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of movement to him. Not a whole lot. Just his arms. That's it. His head doesn't even turn.
Cool.
I thought I saw the box looked about cooler than he does. I don't
He doesn't articulate it a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Box is cool, yeah.
Cool box, man.
And then
The camera's farther away than normal.
I got me a G1 Omega Supreme.
Cool.
Pretty so he's got some smoke damage. I'd say smoke and not sun, because it's pretty
Because it smells.
well.
A little browner.
It's also like it's not on like one side or the other. It's like all of it.
Oh, right.
So, he's missing the little yellow pieces on the back of his feet, and then some tracks, and that's it, though. I don't know if he actually walks. His battery compartment doesn't look terrible.
Just haven't had batteries to put in them yet.
No, I need to clean up his battery compartment a little bit.
Sure.
So,
Oh, he's big and beautiful.
and so I got him for like $60, which for a mostly complete Omega Supreme
It's
is
obscene.
stupid. Complete, he's like $250.
Jeez.
Out of box.
Is it going to cost you up to $250 to complete him?
I don't know if I want to.
He's
or
also
care.
naked. There's no stickers.
Yeah, there's no stickers other than his
That's
chest.
not a big...
And like I can get those on
Not a deal
on
breaker.
toyhacks.com. Which I might do, but I mean he's got some smoke damage, so I don't really care. But
Does it smell smoky? Corey sniffing.
little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
Like
old.
menthol.
No, it's like old cigarettes smell like popcorn to me.
And then I got this guy,
Who does walk?
G1 Triptychon, who does walk.
He's definitely gonna trip
Yeah.
over something.
okay. That was funny.
Just switch there somewhere. Yeah.
Da-dum.
He is
Clean.
pretty clean. He's got some schmuck. He is fairly complete. He's missing a couple little gun
It's pretty heavy.
brackets. This is also part of him in the city mode. I haven't tried this out. It's supposed to light up. It's got a little cannon. I don't have batteries for that. These
And he
come
attacks
apart.
Tokyo.
And there's some more parts for him in a bag. And, yeah, but he's got the I can't remember his name, but the dude that's on his chest, little car turns into a robot.
Cool.
He has a gun, like a double cannon kind of gun. It's missing that, unfortunately.
There was like a platinum edition that came out, re-released.
Yeah.
He's so clean, I wondered. But I can't remember what the difference was.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's
Even if
beautiful.
it's the reissue, it's still.
Oh, yeah.
So he would end up being just a little under 100. He also goes for like 250 complete, out of box.
To have that much stuff.
Yeah.
He's trying to shoot missiles at me.
The missiles don't actually come out either.
No.
They
They
push
break
in.
off, though.
Yeah. They push in. And yeah. And then I got whatever the fuck this is. So
Looks like a transformer, sort of.
kind of.
Kinda
It definitely has an
combiner.
Optimus Prime head on it.
Yeah.
So this is some shit I saw on Amazon,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
and it was like $10. So
Did it say transforming robot?
yes. So it's 6 little
Armadillo?
eggs that turned into dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
And then
which
stick
you can-
together.
Yeah.
Eggs.
And they're all almost exactly the same. They have like different heads or whatever. And then like there's some extra pieces that like go on as guns and shit.
It's
But
pretty crazy.
there's like no instructions.
Of course.
It's pretty excellent.
There's kind of like the instructions to put him together
Excuse
a
me?
little bit, but
I'm just
Yeah.
You
excited
guys
to hold
crack
it.
me up.
That was a pretty good yoke.
I fucking hate you all.
Dude, this thing is so stupid. I love it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, $10. You
I had to.
Yeah.
got
of
it.
course.
What a... Wow.
And that was literally what I said when I saw it. Like, that is so fucking stupid. Like,
Gotta
but
see
it's
this.
little dinosaurs.
But you could say it's Optimus Prime or something, and with,
Yeah.
with that head, that's just
And so it's kind of like, it's got like the meaty orb
yeah,
sort
a
of
little bit.
feel.
A little bit.
Could be sunny
the-
side Optimus.
Salmonellatron.
This could go all night. It really is. You know these guys.
Uh-huh.
Go over easy on me.
He's like,
So that's all I got.
oh, cool. Oh my goodness. Oh, here's this guy. Well, I got some things too.
Good. I was feeling pretty fried.
There's this I got a Super 7 thing, but only reaction figure. I have a little Frankenstein collection of things, and then I was walking through Walmart and I saw this little Peanuts Franken Snoopy, and I passed on them a
Does
while
it glow in
because
the dark?
these Super 7s are just too expensive. And then this
They're terrible.
this licensed one was made at 20. It was 20, so
What?
it wasn't even 17 anymore. It's
Jeez.
18. It's 20. So I passed on them for a while, and then things like it started going on clearance, and I'm like, I just can't not have this. It's really neat though. They the comic strip that it references this version of him is on the back, so that's kind of a neat touch. But yeah, Frank and Snoopy. And then G1 craziness right there with you, Spooty. I got a lot of purple things too. I got this Cyclonus, G1 Cyclonus. It's the first time I've ever had him before, or even touched and held him really. And I love him. He's great. Turns out he's the Target Master one. So now I gotta hunt down that maybe.
What is that? Is that like a reissue?
No,
Or-
well, yeah. In the original wave, they reissued them with a gun person,
Okay.
a Target
okay.
Master, and then
Kinda
they
like
all
the
have a.
Headmasters, but
And then,
Yeah.
they gave them a little port on them where the gun can ride
I got you.
as a gun.
So it's the same mold as the original.
same
but-
exact mold, except they changed it. They changed, and there's like Hot Rod became a cup, Blur. Some of them Blur.
both
They became Target Masters later too. So
Mhm.
they had to change the mold enough to add a little
port.
port. This guy, so he's got a little
Oh,
hole
he's got a
here.
butthole.
Yeah. But
So Hot Rods is like on his engine. There's just
Mm.
a little.
So you see, there's a comic on the back that's like Frankenstein related.
yep.
Was there on this Peanuts thing?
It's cool they included
It's also
Did you
not.
miss that
It's
part
also
of him
not a
telling-
toy. It's listed as not a toy.
not a
Does
toy.
it say that on
Yeah,
there?
it says adult collector, not a toy. So you can't play with it.
Now I need to go get
And
one of
a
those just
choking
to take it
hazard.
out and play with it.
Oh yeah.
I got my first
So sweet.
monster bot monstructor guy. This is it's called Bird Brain.
That's what you should call that thing.
Yeah, maybe that's not bad. Spooty just got one of these from Elgin for Christmas. But this is just it's a pretender monster pretender. So there's a little robot dude in the back that turns into a combiner. But this is just the shell, and it was just a couple bucks down at Corner Collectibles for a G1 thing. I'm like, I can't not get it.
Might
but,
as well. Yeah.
and his name's Bird Brain. Also at this, we went to a toy show this weekend where our buddy, our Twitter buddy, Sergeant Slaughter was at. It was pretty nice to hang out with him, party with him. But also picked up kind of a grail for me. You know, I've been collecting. I had finished the 1984 wave of Transformers, so then I had to start working on 1985, and I was down to 3 left. And this one is one I also had as a kid, so it was like super special and one of the few memories I have. And but he's so expensive now. I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to get him anytime soon, but then there he was, and on Jeremy's table, Bartertown
Okay.
Jeremy's table,
Awesome.
and Shockwave, G1 Shockwave, and yep, he works. But yeah, so he's not perfect. I mean, he's in good shape and clean and stuff, but yeah, I mean, his arm has been glued and his cord isn't super great. But they never are, and but yeah, he's big and beautiful and
It makes noise.
purple, and he makes noise and he stands up, which not a lot of these all do, and yeah, just super happy to find him in the wild.
Those
And
springs in his leg.
Yeah.
yeah,
Jeez.
so
It's like ratcheting mechanism.
he
yeah.
turns into a gun too, and
I had both of these, the Cyclonus and
did you?
yeah, I had no, I had Cyclonus and Shockwave when I was a kid, and yeah, love them.
And then maybe the greatest thing that's come out in the last ever is this new reissue of Starscream. It just come out, and what's different and new about this version? Well, one, man, I'll tell you, it's like being able to open a G1 mold, it would be like taking a vintage off the bubble for you. You know, like it's like
Sure. Yeah.
it's the toy that I opened when I was a kid. It's just new. So to be able to
That's
pull
what's
it,
so great with the origins.
You get
It's the same.
pretty close to that
It's
feeling.
a card art with
Yeah.
a bubble,
It feels like it.
which was exactly what they had in the 80s.
And so to pull out my favorite character of all time, his mold, I get to open him out of a new box. It's just, something special. And this version, what makes him special is that they used the animation colors for him. It's the first time they've really done that. And I don't need to show you the box. I can show you the toy. But so the blue on him is so pretty. And they got the red stripes on the wings are different, like they are in the cartoon. He's got the orange canopy. Yeah, you can see
The reissue. But that's the original colors. The reissue.
Yeah, that's the dark blue normal, but now you can. Yeah, he's just so pretty. I mean, I like all versions, but yeah. So, and he doesn't come with stickers really. He's got a few, but just kind of some that mimic what they are on the cartoon. So it's really neat to have that. And really his face is the greatest thing that changes everything. It changes everything.
That
Just getting to see that gray face and those the eyes, the blue, red eyes. So cool. Yep.
I can't make him stand up, and I don't want
that's
to
all
break him.
Oh yeah, so been a wonderful G1 week or two here.
And he has hands with holes in them.
Hands with holes. Yeah, that's one thing that's new too. Yeah. And he actually came with a little
gun.
Megatron,
Oh, okay.
an actual Megatron gun. I didn't bring him with me, but
Yeah, there's one of those in my Starscream box too. A little like 1/18 scale Megatron. Pretty excited about that.
that is cool.
Cool.
All right, fellas, we watched a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and his
do you
hold
want?
on, because his cockpit's actually
Cyclones.
orange instead of clear
can't
like
hear
the vintage one.
Shockwave.
Cyclonus.
Cyclones. Okay.
All right, you said we watched a movie and I interrupted you.
Yep.
And then I interrupted.
And then he interrupted
Yeah,
your
we're all
interruption.
excited about all the toys.
That's true.
I was excited that Starscream's like canopy is orange instead of clear like on the vintage one.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
Well, this was actually Corey's idea.
It was.
This He-Man movie we watched.
because it's my favorite. I did say all time in the post, and I should be a little less vague.
Careful with your word. More careful with your words.
it's as far as I'm concerned, it is the best '80s animated movie.
Well, let me just. You
Yeah,
did
why?
watch this before all of us, didn't you? You brought it up.
Oh, I'm
Or
sure
did you
Elgin
already-
probably saw it a million
I
times
mean,
before I did, but
Well, not necessarily.
Like-
I watched it like 5 years ago when I got the DVD set
Mm.
because it's in that He-Man complete filmation set,
Yeah, cool.
along with the Christmas special and all that. But
can't wait.
so I watched it then when I was watching through all the episodes because the way they have it in there is it's basically like season one of the start of a
She-Ra.
season because it's an episodic thing, and then they basically edit it into a movie.
Yeah,
So for me, there's not a lot of like nostalgia attached to it because I didn't watch this as a kid. I watched episodes, but I don't remember watching it.
I
as a
remember
kid.
these. Like I remember this. I remembered it after having gone and watched the movie. I think the last time I watched it before watching it for this was like a year ago, maybe less. But for me, the reason that I think it's the greatest of all of them is because it's the most stereotypical 80s. The way that it's drawn, the way that it's animated, the way that it's voiced, the way that like all the characters are presented, just like overall the way that the movie is everything that was 80s to me for cartoons. And that's the nostalgic part for me, was like how it presents itself and how it like what it does to my brain when I watch it, just because like watching the way that the way that they animate the characters when they're running stuff like that. It's very Scooby-Doo.
Well, it's filmation.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the TV show was.
Yeah.
Which is
Exactly.
there was no like upscaling it to this is a theatrical release,
Right,
even though
yeah.
it was released in the theaters.
Let's hire
Yeah.
A-list actors
Yeah,
to do voices.
it was the
now.
exact same voice
Yeah.
cast from the show, and all they did was just make it longer, make it an hour and a half, make it
Which-
5 episodes because
which
they
is-
wanted
yeah.
it daily anyway. So
And that's why it's the best one for me, because it's so much more like the actual 80s cartoons than any of the other like Transformers or G.I. Joe were. Like there's a pretty stark contrast between the G.I. Joe animated movie and the G.I. Joe series.
same with
And the same way with the
Transformers.
Transformers movie. And
But
there
yeah.
wasn't anything stupid in this. Like there was no
There's some.
well, okay, but not like ridiculous off the wall stupid like the chorus line dance in the Transformers movie, or
So like
It's
you know,
it's on
you-
it's on
you got
par
the
with
touch.
it's on par with what they put out in the 80s.
You know, Eddie's
yeah,
gonna
but
shoot us.
it's
Like on the show.
it's like 80s campy cheesy stuff, not like just something really 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 dumb like all of the G.I. Joe movie, or like I said the really ridiculous like song and dance number from Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Bong line dance thing. That's just could be cut from the movie, and I wouldn't ever notice that something was. Anyway,
When I was,
Jason's shaking his head
Yeah.
at me.
It's a cool part of the movie.
It's the only good part of the movie.
when I was rewatching this, so it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's 5 episodes.
Yeah.
It's
They
exactly
edited
the
it
right
over.
amount of time for a
Well,
I don't know if I.
Except
at,
that they didn't need
at about an hour in, I'm like,
they didn't need
this
to
show
add the
this should
last
be
act.
over.
Yeah,
I was like, this should be over by now.
yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, there's 30 more minutes. I'm like,
yeah.
And
The
then
whole
the third act starts.
the
Yeah.
whole sequence where they have to go and rescue
Queen Angela.
Queen Angela.
They should have
Should've
stopped.
yeah,
before
it did.
I
that.
thought the movie was over.
I did too.
So did I. Actually, I was like, oh, they're doing more
It
stuff.
really flew by. That's great.
They're like, oh, they're gonna do
But-
more adventures.
It does give Glimmer another opportunity
No, I liked Glimmer.
to go from 0 to horny.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like the first time
she was ready
she
to like,
walks in,
jump on
like
He-Man.
Bo,
just like,
Bo walks in at the beginning of the movie and she's like, Bo, where have you been? Oh.
and
She made that sound.
Well, yeah, she's like, oh, this is my stranger friend that I just met, Prince Adam.
I mean, I get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
She said
incredible.
You haven't done
Yeah,
anything,
there's
but you're
a-
incredible.
There's definitely enough of Glimmer is horny in this movie.
There's a lot of it. Yeah.
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 So yeah,
There's
the third act.
there's a lot of in She-Ra and the Princess Power. There's like even Frosta is like
Mhm.
hot for He-Man. Like there's a lot of the other princesses that like
Yeah.
wanted.
So I mean, I kind of did a quick synopsis, but do you want to tell everyone who's not seen this a quick rundown of what happens in this movie or what makes it?
I mean, you printed out the sheet.
I mean,
so-
I print out the plot of it. I don't know if you want to go like plot through.
More
We don't need to go
general,
too
just for those who
detailed.
haven't
It's
seen it.
basically,
Well,
Yeah.
so the sorceress
Has a
has
dream.
a dream of like that there's supposed to be
Manifest
this
the sword.
that like comes out of nowhere been in Castle Grayskull forever.
out of a door she's never been able to open.
Yeah, that just magically opens because it's magic. So calls He-Man, is like, hey, take this sword to someplace that we don't know where you're going. He's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yes, yeah, cool.
I thought about that all the way through the movie, and I was like, why would he do that? Like, but then I'm thinking, well, the sorceress knows because she knows who's there, and obviously she can breathe, so it's okay for He-Man
Yeah,
to go
and
through
it's
this
and the
portal.
sword is almost exactly like his
Yeah.
sword, except for the jewel inside.
And it's
so-
a cartoon, and they don't breathe anyway.
Yeah, and he doesn't care.
He's happy to help.
Yeah, he's just a helpful guy. So he takes the sword, which disappears immediately into his back, and
And accepts her quest.
and goes through the magical door that goes to Etheria.
Because he knows he's going to go get otherworldly poon.
That was Sorceress was like, hey, you're gonna probably get some there. He's like, sign me up. That's probably what he said.
And then he
Let's
almost
go,
fucks
kitty
his
cat. Let's go.
Yeah, and he's like, bring Cringer along, why not?
Make him watch.
Yeah, it makes him
That's why he's always cringing.
Yeah.
But Prince Adam, I don't want to go.
Ancestry.com.
And it's like, oh, hey, man, I'm stuck in the washing machine again.
Again.
So,
Third time today.
And that's it. That's the end of the movie.
Then the credits roll.
You guys watched a way different movie than you did.
Anyway, he gets to Etheria, which is the other dimension that just happens to be exactly like Eternia, except it's overrun by someone else who ends up being Hordak, who was
Some other dude with a
Skeletor's
skull
teacher.
face.
Yeah, another skull face because they had to have their own, because they're basically introducing She-Ra as their own series. That was the whole point of this movie, was
handing
that
the baton.
this is the introduction of She-Ra, because she's going to have her own toy line, she's going to have her own series.
Because they want to get girls
It's a
involved.
crossover, yep. But the girls were already buying He-Man toys because they wanted to play with He-Man toys. They didn't want to play with the girl toys because they already had Barbie, which
Yeah.
Mattel was already doing. So that's a whole another
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
So he finally he goes to Etheria and he's like looking around and goes to an inn/restaurant
Gets in a fight.
and immediately gets in a fight with Horde troopers.
But not before we find out one of the Horde troopers' names,
oh yeah,
which is
it was-
Mark.
Yeah. That's right.
So that,
It's like I had to look at
Teach
captions
that-
to like. I was like, did he just say Mark?
yeah, teach that music maker a lesson, Mark.
Yeah. Mark the Horde Trooper. And Cringer sucks the flesh off of a fish.
Instantaneous.
Yeah. Oh, can I get a plate of fish here?
Your animal talks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which she was horse talks too, but no, never. Anyway,
And then whatever the thing that is with the giant flappy ears.
That's
a cowl. That's,
Yeah.
That's part of the. It's basically Orko.
Yeah, it's like
It's
Phil.
She-Ra.
It's like if Orko was Phyllis Diller.
Yeah.
the Jar Jar
Well,
Binks
that's
of
you're thinking of Madame Raz, maybe.
Yeah.
the wheelie of.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The-
No.
the
Yeah.
owl.
There's
It's
evil.
Cowl.
There was evil Orko, and then there was yeah.
Madame Raz, and
So you got two Orkos.
Yeah, but the cowl was basically like the Cringer-esque, Orko-esque figure.
Mhm.
You know, the kind of
It
wisecracking.
worked once. Why not twice?
Yeah, exactly. And then he meets Bo at this place, and then since they beat up the Horde troopers, they're like, "Oh no, now we gotta leave." So they go to the Whispering Woods. I
Whispering
think.
Woods.
So it's
Yeah.
a great name because his weapon.
Is a bow. Yes, he uses a bow. His name is Bo.
That's
It's-
how He-Man does it.
It's we don't stray too far from names.
Nope.
If it can describe the character in one word, we'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Like Glimmer should have been named Horno,
Anyway,
but
they're
spelled like WHORNO.
right. They're part of the Great Rebellion that's fighting Hordak and all the Horde troopers because they're trying to take over the Etheria.
Well, I
where's
mean,
the
basically,
girlfriend?
they just
Yeah.
they basically capture He-Man, and then he
At some
sees
point, yes.
She-Ra in his. Except she's not called She-Ra.
Oh yeah, because he dresses up as a Horde trooper,
Yeah.
but his hair sticks out, so that's how they immediately find out.
Well,
that
that's
it's
not the
him.
first time. Well, yeah, that is when he gets captured, though,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So
Force Captain Adora, who's been
Adora, that's
brainwashed
it, yeah.
because she was abducted. Because
As a
you find
child.
out that He-Man and She-Ra are brother and sister. They're twins. She gets
So there's some
abducted by
Skywalker
Hordak.
stuff going on.
She gets abducted by Hordak as a baby, and then goes to Etheria. So then she grows up under the control of Hordak and Shadow Weaver, and thinking that the Horde is great and that the Rebel is bad, but is really obviously opposite of that. And so he gets
Which-
captured. And
you would think that
By
names
her.
like the Fright Zone would have
yeah,
given that
I'm
away.
gonna go back to the Fright Zone and hang out. It's like, okay, sure.
So there's a lot of cheese. There's so much cheese,
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's like I say, it's basically
it's
the
good,
show
good 80s
But-
cheese.
Yeah, it's just
for
a
an hour
long
and a half.
episode.
It's a
yeah.
very long episode.
A little too long.
Yeah.
But then, yeah,
Because
she rescues.
So Force Captain Adora shoots him, stuns him, but then he has the sword, and it's like, oh, it's it recognizes you, but she doesn't like realize at that point that it's for her,
Yeah.
even though it's like glowing. It's like, oh, I need to figure out more about
Hey,
this.
cool sword.
I'm use it as a nightlight. And then he convinces her to go off into Etheria and see, oh, the Horde's actually bad.
You
And
should
then
go.
she
Go
comes
Think
back.
for yourself
and,
for a minute.
Yeah, for
and
1
then
second.
She gets tricked again and overpowered again by evil Orko, and then like comes back to
Shadow
He-Man
Reaper.
again, and again he's like, "Did you go?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did, and I feel real bad." And then that's when the sword like takes over, and the sorceress comes to her and
Yeah,
says,
they
"You're
trap
She-Ra."
they trap He-Man in this cage
When
to,
he's laying
They
on
to,
his
basically
to
back-
use
him
his
as a
will
battery.
Yeah, they use their weapon is called the Magnet Beam, and they're trying to power it with willpower, which is this dumb. I'm just like, you could power it with anything, but you're using people's souls basically to power your
Yeah.
thing. Like, oh, He-Man has a lot of power. We'll just use him instead.
And then Lex
'Cause these
Luthor
villagers-
steals that for Supergirl. Anyway,
Yeah, but these villagers are like too weak to like power his thing, so they're just like sucking energy out of him, and then she figures out that the sword is good, and then she's like, it's calling to her to say, for the honor of Grayskull, and then she like finally transforms, and then has all this knowledge of like immediately knowledge of that,
The ancients.
and all the stuff.
and then she goes and jumps on her horse, and her horse turns into
Swiftwind.
Swiftwind.
Yeah,
And
Horsey becomes Stabby Horse.
Yeah,
And-
flying stab. And then she rescues He-Man and immediately sibling zones him.
Yeah,
And
she reveals that she is He-Man's sister. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm your twin sister." And he's like, "No, I don't know,
Sure.
but I'll believe you
oh man,
because
I
you
guess I'll-
transformed."
This boner go away. And ride and pull the hole on the back of a flying horse with my sister.
They end up going back to Eternia,
That was
and then
so weird.
to finally like meet their parents and
Yeah.
everything, and then I was like, that's for me. That's where the movie should end, because like they find
Yep.
then the thing that really bothered me was like they show up there, and like immediately like, oh, we recognize you immediately, Adora. I'm like, you've only seen this person as a baby, like literally
Right,
a baby.
right.
That's the only time you've seen it, and he comes back and she's an adult, and you're like, oh, I immediately know who you are.
Yet
But it's
doesn't
a
recognize
10-year-old
He-Man that looks
Yeah.
exactly like
Exactly.
their own son.
As a 10-year-old kid, though, you're like,
Yeah, as a kid, you don't
Yeah,
care. That doesn't
yeah.
matter. But as an adult watching this, it's like I was like, how do they know? I said that out loud when I was watching. I'm like, how do they know that that's their
Well,
daughter?
because the sorceress knew.
Yeah,
Maybe there's a hive mind that they weren't telling
she
us
probably
about.
smelled funky or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that smells exactly like Marlena. And then
Yeah, I mean, the parts that stood out to me were definitely the Glimmer is horny all the time and teach that guy a lesson, Mark.
Yeah.
so they
And
make
then, like-
they make it back to Eternia, but then they're like, oh, we got to go back to Etheria to save.
Yeah, to continue saving Etheria, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to stick around, Mom and Dad. Sorry, I know I've been gone for 30 years, but
Well,
I
they're
got other shit to
technically supposed to
do.
be in their teens, but
Okay.
because if you look at like He-Man is supposed to be like 17.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
I never would have.
I never would have guessed that.
Really.
He's supposed to be like in his teens. So if you look at the 2000X and then you look at Masterverse, he's supposed to be a kid.
I mean, it makes more sense from the
They never really did that in the
Adam,
Filmation.
I would
yeah,
think
Adam. So then he transforms as He-Man is.
But He-Man sure seems.
Well, no, but
That's-
see,
his
Adam
transformation is,
Adam's
I
got
know.
Adam's got way too manly a voice. To be
Anyway, but
He-Man.
that's
Anyway.
yeah. So they have to go back to Etheria,
more adventures.
save Queen Angela for Glimmer, but then they
Again.
go back to Eternia again, and it's just like a back and forth. I'm like,
Wait, I thought they didn't go to Eternia until after they saved Queen Angela.
yeah,
the first
they
time.
go back again. So they go to Eternia, then they go back to Etheria to save Queen, then they go back to Eternia again. It's yeah.
I'm just glad that you guys noticed it and felt it too. So when I was watching it, I'm like, man, I thought this could have ended a minute
Yeah.
ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
After that
definitely it
first-
definitely could have ended before all of the Queen Angela stuff.
Just made it a 3-parter and had 2
And
extra ones.
The
series.
the whole harpy thing was like,
Yeah.
well, you got beat way too easy, and
Right.
And it's not even that that's bad. It was just at the hour and a half.
The story had been told already.
Yeah,
like
that's all.
we
It's not that it was
knew
bad,
everything
but-
we needed to know.
Sure.
We don't need to know where Horno's mom is.
right.
That could have been like another episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
part
or
2.
something.
Yeah.
It does have one of my favorite lines of Skeletor
Oh.
in it,
You're going to say it as
where he says, "Calling King Randor, pick up your royal boob."
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, I remember that. That's so good.
It's like yes, there needed to be more Skeletor in it.
Yeah, not
First off,
enough.
there wasn't nearly enough.
No, there was barely
And
any.
Hordak's
maybe
personality
3 or 4 minutes.
was
time.
just
maybe.
It didn't seem as much when you compare him to Skeletor.
Right. And him saying a female He-Man. This is the worst day ever.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
I can't wait to watch the Christmas special.
that
My-
one is
My-
it's something else.
My other biggest takeaway is I really would have swore Cringer was done by a different actor because it just seems so different than the show.
but not Battle Cat.
No, Battle
Battle
Cat
Cat
was
same
pretty much the
guy.
same.
It's the same guy
Cringer
does
was
both.
actually cringy. I just was so whiny. It
Yeah,
just felt so much. It felt different.
Yeah.
I think there
He
was.
sounds
I
like that in the
remembered.
filmation.
Well,
yeah.
I believe
there
you.
was a
I
lot
just-
more Cringer saturation in this than
There
in a
was.
normal
He's
episode.
not normally that
That
much
much
in
in the
it
story.
in
Yeah,
episodes.
You're right.
Unless it's a episode for him, because there's a couple in the series that he's like featured in it. And
Yeah.
they're hard to get through. There's one where he like falls in love with another cat. It's
Oh,
It's
it's
weird.
not Catra.
it is not Catra.
Good.
Yeah.
I fucking
Well, this
hated
is-
Catra.
It's Corey's favorite movie of all time, but where does it rank for you, Elgin, in the all of
Favorite
Mo
80s
too.
animated movie for
of
me.
animated
just-
of the
That's
three.
well, I mean that's where it is for me. It's my favorite 80s animated movie.
Are we just going from G.I. Joe, Transformer, and this one? Is that where we're ranking?
I was more interested in just where it goes in Motu's world.
Oh,
of,
I
like-
don't normally go. I wouldn't watch this yearly like I would the live action movie. I prefer,
Gotcha.
for me, I have more nostalgia, and I prefer watching that one, which I'll probably watch.
Which I
on my
get
birthday.
because as
Yeah.
like you're a huge Motu fan and seeing that come to life on the screen when like you
Exactly.
were at the prime age to see that come to life on the screen.
Yeah.
I was a little older and didn't really care about it at that point. But this for me it's all about how I feel about cartoons
Yeah.
and 80s cartoons.
It came out 2 years before this as well, so
Yeah.
for me it doesn't have the same. I don't have the same feeling to like watch it and want to watch it as I do the live action movie.
And for me, this being my first time ever, I mean, except for Dragon On, I really liked it because it like gave me more show.
Yeah.
I got
Oh, yeah.
more show, and I personally never made the transition to She-Ra, and I haven't got to watch any of that yet. So
It's hard to
it was
watch.
awesome to get
is.
that, get some She-Ra in my life. So that was great,
Yeah.
right, Spooty? Oh, all right.
Wake up, Spooty.
I have tried to watch the original She-Ra, Princess of Power stuff. It's harder to watch for me because of all the characters that are in this movie are in that show as well. Like
Yeah.
I really like the villains in She-Ra. Like
Sure.
Horde, like the whole
Oh.
Horde, like
Did they
know,
did they make
Manta.
an evil did they make like the Horde Trooper action figure? Is there one? Okay.
I have two of them.
Okay,
as
that's
in
that's
the
what
origin.
I thought.
They also made them in the vintage,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Couldn't
you can-
remember off the top of my head
Yeah.
for some reason. And
They
I
made
thought
Horde
they
Troopers.
did.
They made a Fright Zone. They made, a bunch of stuff. But yeah, Hordak and Antenna, Leech, Grizzlor, but a better version. He looks a little funky in there, but
Yes.
Do you have a She-Ra in your collection anywhere?
I do now because it's an origin
Mm-hmm.
that I will be getting to eventually, and I have to get through the stuff. But I got it from Big Bad Toy Store. It was from the Lost Wave of Wave 4, I think.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
That had like Roboto and Zodak, She-Ra, and then Merman, the original version of Merman.
Did they ever make a stabby horse?
Not in Origins. They did in the vintage.
The
They
vintage,
made
yeah.
all the vintage stuff.
Okay.
Like they have tons of Princess of Power stuff out there. One of the toy stores we went to had a lot on card.
Yeah.
And so it was just like they made. Not only did they make figures, but they made clothes for the figures that you could dress up She-Ra and stuff.
Oh
And
God.
And
they all had real hair.
And
they all had real hair,
tanked.
and they could be
Came
combed. You could comb their hair because
The
they had real
weapons.
doll hair.
Mm-hmm.
And
the toy line tanked.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years later, they came out in '85, so 2 years later it was done.
So for those of you who haven't seen it and want to see this awesome movie, you can find it on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep, it's on
Although
YouTube.
after this review, do you even need to see it?
That's also true.
I mean, there's stuff we didn't talk about, but
If you really like,
saving a
if
horse.
you love 80s cartoons for the sake of 80s cartoons, which was me,
Yeah.
which is why I love this so much. Because like I would get home from school and I had my whole evening planned out from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock when my bedtime was. I knew which cartoons were on what channels and I could watch cartoons
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
from the time I got home to the time I went to bed and totally fucked off my homework and got terrible grades all because of cartoons and how much I loved 80s cartoons.
Yep.
And this is definitely the epitome of 80s animation.
I do like watching the Filmation, the He-Man Filmation series, like just to put on an episode or so.
Mm-hmm.
But watching an hour and a half is a little much.
Different.
I
Like
love
watching a couple episodes a night is not bad, but it kind of goes on a little too long for me.
And so are we. So let's take a quick little break, and you're going to hear from our podcast network.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
And we are back. It's time for Elgin to take us on a store tour.
All right, today's store that we're going to is called RadRelics. It's at 117 East Main Street in Fredericktown, Missouri, which is about an hour and a half south of St. Louis, just straight south. It kind of has a bunch of random odds and ends, really, inside there.
We like random.
Yeah, so like comics, Marvel, DC figs, Star Wars, dinosaur, just random dinosaurs, a lot of clothing, Funko Pops, game consoles, just kind of random things, but all rad things, I would say, one might say. It's definitely a place that you could go in and spend a while looking around and looking at things and digging through things and
A little like old toy pit, maybe.
kind of
less
thrift story,
disjointed.
but in
Yeah.
a better way. No, I don't want to.
Taint it.
Yeah, with saying that it's like a dirty thrift store, but
Right.
it has that kind of everything everywhere, not really organized, but just kind of cool stuff all around.
Oh, sounds awesome.
So yeah, it's called Rad Relics, 117 East Main Street, Fredericktown. I think it's on the square there, hour and a half south of St. Louis.
Wonderful. All right, now it's time to hear from you guys. It's Corey with Talking Toys.
Hey everybody, it's Corey with Talking Toys. We wanted to know, do you love it? Do you hate it? Have you ever even heard of it? And there's a little of each. Let's see, is Carnivius, that's Scotty?
That's Scotty,
That's
yep.
Scotty. That's
From
Scotty.
England.
Yep, Scotty from England. Scotty says, I saw it in the cinema. Oh, I should have guessed because nobody says cinema in America.
Oh.
Right.
I saw it in the cinema. Also, I've sometimes used the screenshot of Adam and Bo on horseback to people who insist there was nothing, air quotes, remotely gay about 80s He-Man when they complain recent Motu, parentheses, weather revelation, or 2018 She-Ra is, air quotes, woke, and that, air quotes, they made Adam gay in Revelation and Tila a lesbian with a black girlfriend, end quote. Which, of course, they should know isn't even true if they actually watched it.
Sure.
Anyway, Secret of the Sword is a fun time, whether it's original movie format or cut into the first few episodes of She-Ra's show.
Yes.
Its theme song is some catchy 80s pop cheese, too. Hey, thank you for your in-depth dive there, Scotty. That's
It is true. The theme song is terrible, but also catchy.
yeah.
Right.
It's
Like a lot of our
So
songs.
terrible.
It's very terrible.
It's not great, but it's very hummable. The
But
tune
how lucky of him to get to see Filmation
Yeah.
on the big screen. That's
in the
awesome.
cinema.
Yeah.
In the cinema.
Little cinema. Let's see. Over in the Twitterverse, we had Mike Blanchard saying, "Love this." Loves it.
The movie.
It's
The
probably
man
us.
named Bambi
Oh, yeah.
said, "You're killing me, Smalls," and then posted some dumb GIF with some dumb Transformers
Come
thing.
on, it's way better.
Mike also said, in other posts, we did it first. Over on their Myths of Eternia podcast, is that what it is? It's there over on the Myths of Eternia.
Geekcast Radio Network.
Geekcast Radio Network, geekcastradio.com. If you want to check out those guys, they do a lot of this kind of stuff too, and apparently they did it first. Episode 47. Over in the Facebook world, what you talking about? Willis Wheeler said it will never be as good as Transformers the movie. Well, you're wrong. This is my spot, and I get to say you're wrong. And then Abe Kirshner, never heard of it. Told you we had a little of each.
He's kind of young. Though.
Yeah.
He
he's a
is.
little
Yeah,
baby
he's
boy.
like 16 or something. I don't know.
17 maybe.
Yeah,
I've seen him drive, so
I've been to his house a couple of times.
Whoa.
No, that's a lie. He said I've never heard
Does
of it, but
Ash
I'm
know?
excited. Well, no, but he and Tad, they're
Yeah.
but I'm excited for you guys to tell me about it. I've been loving the toy movie crossover episodes. Thanks, Abe. That's
We'll
all.
see if he still feels that way.
Yeah. I think you know what I mean.
Crapping on it.
I feel like maybe others did do it first, but I bet they didn't. I bet they didn't spend as much time on how horny Glimmer was.
That's true.
So
They may or may not. But
I'll have to go listen to episode 47
That's true.
and see if they spent as much.
I think it's still
Time.
if you haven't seen it, at least watch it to say that you saw it, and then go
bragging
from
rights,
there.
right.
Yeah,
You know, have an open mind and be like,
yeah. Have an open mind.
remember it's an
'Cause
80s
then you can
movie.
shit on it.
Exactly.
Right. If you don't vote, you can't.
And yeah, remember it's an 80s movie, so take that with whatever you think.
Well, before we go today, I definitely want to remind you guys to head over to patreon.com/cracktasticplastic. If you like what we're doing, you want to help us out and support us, that's where you go and do it. And some really cool dudes beat you there, but you can hang out with them. But their names,
They did it first.
they did it first.
They did do it.
So,
first.
but that's all right. You can do it second or fifth and anyway. So the first, we just want to give a shout out to Tony Miller, Chris Turnip Simmons, Peter Glinsman, and Alex LaForest.
Hey guys.
We really
Thanks.
appreciate you guys being patrons, and you too. Head on over to patreon.com/cracktasticplastic. Well, that's it, guys.
Made it.
We did it, and
That was fun.
yeah, it was fun. I wonder what movie we're gonna watch next. That's exciting.
Hashtag Kevin's booty.
No. Well, I gotta go do something else. Bye. Thanks for watching and listening.
Job
Ciao.
for now.
Thank you for listening to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. But not so fast, my foul fiends. Don't forget to follow these fools on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And visit cracktasticplastic.com. I'll be back.